polls, when you ask people who they'd like to see as Labour's leader, I'm second, ahead of Ed Miliband. So the public take the bid very seriously. In fact, I decided to stand in response to people saying that although the four front runners are wonderful and very talented and so on, they really think much the same, and people felt it was important there was a broader range of political views involved in the leadership debate.
So, in terms of your political views, why do you think fundamentally Labour lost the election?
Because we got out of touch with our electorate. I think the argument which some of the contenders are making, which is that immigration lost us the election, I think is wrong. I think that voters' concerns about immigration, which I might point out, were much more intense in constituencies where there were no immigrants at all. No one mentioned immigration on the doorstep.
Do you think it's a racist thing, basically?
No. I think it's a surrogate for people's concerns about the lack of housing, for people's concerns about job insecurity, for people's concerns about change and just general insecurity. And we as a party need to deal with those underlying insecurities amongst black and white working class people.
So when you say the party got out of touch with people, but it wasn't immigration, what were they getting out of touch about?
Well, you know, one of the biggest things that was disillusioning for Labour voters was the Iraq War. We had the biggest march ever against it. Most Labour Party members were against it. And people felt the government just wasn't listening.
And if you became Labour leader, would you call for British troops to come home from, for instance, Afghanistan?
I visited Afghanistan last year. I was very impressed with the bravery of our boys out there. But we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing in a country where no Western nation has won a war for a century? One of the things I would raise in the leadership debate is, what are we doing in Afghanistan? Is it an open-ended commitment?
Now, you have the summer months now, I suppose, to go around in front of Labour Party audiences. One of the problems, of course, is that in the Labour Party constitution, quite a lot of this is done by unions and block votes and so on. Would you like to see, sort of, as it were, an open primary system? If you say that the voters would prefer you to many of the other candidates, would you like to see a much wider range of people involved in this?
I would. One of the problems is I've got to get 33 nominations from MPs to even get on the ballot paper. We're on track, but it's tight. But you know, that's a system which geared toward insiders. It's no coincidence that two of the front runners are actually brothers. You know, Obama could never have got through this sort of system. We need at the very front end a more open system which allows a wider range of candidates to run.
Diane Abbott, I'm going to be mean. I'm going to say, you say on track. How many have you got so far?
That is my secret, but you will soon know.
Andrew. And it's not going to be sort of one or two.
No.
Do better.
No. But as I say, it's hard to come in as the underdog when the other candidates had been hoovering up nominations for months.
Do you think the rule is unfair? The sort of 31 MPs have to sign your papers first, in terms of keeping the field quite narrow at the start of the contest?
As I say, it's geared towards insiders, and the American presidential system provides a much wider range of candidates. We do need to look at the system.
Why do you think the Labour Party throws up so many people of a similar age, background, educational background and so on? Why is it all 40-something guys from Oxbridge, apart from yourself?
I think it's phenomenal the system we now have, and back in the day in the 70s, had a much broader range of potential leadership candidates, Barbara Castle, trade unionist, Dick Crossman, an academic. It's part of the legacy of New Labour, and actually we need to get beyond that.
All right, do you think that if David Miliband, the favourite, gets it, Labour's just going to look too much like the rest?
I think if we have a leadership contest through the summer...
Or Ed Miliband, for that matter.
Or Ed, yes. I think if we have a leadership contest through the summer, in which everybody in it is male and white and saying exactly the same thing, that won't do justice to Labour's record on diversity.
All right, Diane Abbott, we now know, we certainly know that's not going to